If you started something once and then you never see a change from the thing, and then you decided to give up because you've tried once and it never seemed to work, and you decide and say, you know what, it's work. I've tried it once, and because I tried it once and I didn't see any impact from trying it once, and so I gave up. It gets to a point whereby basically you'll say you gave up, isn't it? That will be the name that you will be known by. People will know you as somebody that always gives up. People will know you as somebody that doesn't give in all the how do you say, you don't really give in all the 100% that is needed, because I tried it once, it didn't work out, and then I gave in. I threw up the towel and moved on. And we become mainly sometimes a generation like that. That I've said this before. That sometimes you get to a point and you tried once, and then because you tried it once and it didn't work out, you go like, well, I tried it once, it never worked out, and so I gave up. And we are easy to give up. And I think sometimes we have become less resilient because we get to a point where we're thinking like, once I tried, it didn't work. So at the end of the day, this thing doesn't work. And sometimes I usually ask, if you have tried it only once and then you did not see it working, why did you decide to throw in a towel? Because the level of our patience has really decreased. The level of our resilience has also really decreased. We are a people and a generation where we find it much more easier just to kind of in a way easily give up. And so one of the things that I've been telling myself is, if I really want to keep on going, I have to have those rhythms that will keep me going every single day. And those are one thing. I'm reading a book at the moment, and the guy is talking about rhythms. And he was talking about like having those daily rhythms, things that you do on a day-to-day basis that you can say, like for myself, my daily rhythm will be, I wake up in the morning, I say my prayer, I go for a run, and then I come back, I do school run, and then I go to work, and then I come back. And you can easily say those things that you are doing daily, so to say, so that in the end you can look at your life and say, I've gotten better at doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H. And sometimes if you don't have daily rhythms, you just find yourself going with the flow, which is really nice, because if you're able to go with the flow, it's amazing. It shows that you are easily adaptable, you are flexible, you're somebody that doesn't really need a lot of push around, because it just needs where it just depends on where the wind is blowing, it will blow with you. And that's really incredible, right? That you can be able to just be flexible, flex up 1 minute, and you're like, we're good to go. We made this adjustment, we made the other adjustment, and our lives are moving on. But imagine again the stability that comes with being able to have like a daily routine, with being able to have like daily rhythms, things that you look at and say, as a person, this is my daily health regime. Ooh, that's a good one. What are your daily health regimes? What are those things that you do on a day-to-day basis that will move you into a better health? What are those daily things that you do that will kind of in a way spy you into a healthy, healed body? If you're trusting God, for example, for healing, or you're walking through a given challenge and you really want to say, you want to gain weight, you want to lose weight, you want to maintain weight, whatever that it is that you want to do, it means that you have to get to a point where you decide and say, I need to commit to something that I will do at least every single day, so that at the end of the day, once I've done this thing every single day, I become better at it. I become a better master at it. I gain mastery. And once I gain mastery, I can be able to say, this is my strength. I can see the shifts and the changes as days go by. And that's why sometimes when you're thinking about consistency, it's just kind of understanding, what is it that I can do every single day? I can commit to this one thing, and this one thing only. I've told you guys about a book that I recently read of this doctor who's passed away sadly, and he was the just one thing, and he says daily things. What are those daily things that you can do every single day to commit to, so that they become second nature, so that they become like a habit to you? For me, I love to exercise. But I've said before, sometimes I find it a struggle. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I don't feel like it. Sometimes I wake up in the morning and I'm thinking like, why am I doing this again? But because I get to a point and I decide and say, I want to become consistent. I want to walk in the path of consistency, that I set up a path for myself, that I will be able to say, these are my daily readings. These are the things that I do every single day. These are the things that I commit to every single day. And that's why I'm calling myself into consistency. And I don't want to be selfish about it, because I know the power of consistency. I don't want to be selfish about doing things by myself. And that's why I'm inviting you guys, come along with me. Come and do this together with me. And what am I asking you to do? It's just a very simple thing. We're finishing this off tomorrow. As I said, it's not a challenge. You can call it a challenge if you want to, but it's just 5 days of consistency. Whatever that you want to do, committing just half an hour of your 24 hours and half an hour of your 24 hours in a day. And those half an hour is committing yourself and saying, I will do some physical activity that will actually push me and move me towards a better health. If you are sedentary and you decide to start going for a walk, half an hour of walk every single day for 5 days, that will be something that will be a great achievement, right? If you're already active and decide to pace up and increase your intensity for every single day as you go into the 5 days, that's already something that means you're developing yourself and you're increasing yourself and you're becoming better every single day, right? If you're already on advanced level and you decide even to spice that up and decide to go even a bit more high, further, and give yourself more challenges, you will be able to see so much happening around you and you'll be able to see so much growth. And that's why half an hour is a minimum. Half an hour is something that I'm calling you. I'm doing only half an hour. As I said, I don't say to you, do this and I do another thing. I'm doing only half an hour, and half an hour of those physical activity can be cycling, it can be running, it can be swimming, it can be walking, it can be cleaning up your house. And I said, if you don't want to do physical activity, you can also do some mental activities, some emotional activities. You can decide to volunteer with someone or do something for someone. You can decide to use that time for reading. You can decide to use that time for meditation. But most of all, is what I'm looking for in this week and what I'm calling you into. It's just half an hour physical activity, because we know physical activity has so much place that it has something that it can do for physical health. Physical activity can help us to get a bit better. And I can see some of you online with me this morning. Good morning. And it's something that will help you. One, you can be able to get better in your health. You can be able to get better in your mental health and your mental well-being. You can be able as well to lose weight if you want to lose weight. You can be able as well to get more fitter if that's the goal that you have. And so when you incorporate physical activity in your day-to-day life and you get to a point where you're consistently doing it, as I said, you can't do it only once and expect to see a shift or a major shift on something or the other. You have to constantly practice, and you become what you repeat every single time. You repeat something, you get better at it. If try to imagine the day that, if some of us who drive cars or we cycle, imagine the first day that you got into that car, when you held that steering wheel the first time. For me, I remember I was like shaking. I was thinking like, oh my God, will this car even be able to move? And then the next day I went, I was like, I mean, I can get on the road with a car and an instructor. And then with time, when I finished, I did my test, I realized I don't even need an instructor, right? I can go on the road. I can be able to do my exercise by myself. And exercise, I can be able to drive by myself. And now I don't need somebody with me. I get into the car, I turn on the ignition, and off I go, because it has become something that over years I practiced over and over again, that it has become second nature to me. I don't think every time I get into my car, how do I turn on the ignition? Where's the steering wheel? How do I turn on? I drive a manual car. I love my manual car. Where is my gears? I don't think about those things because they have become second nature to me, right? When I think about waking out of bed, by God's grace, when my alarm goes and I'm able to wake up, it gets to a point there's some things that I've actually become good at them, because I've just basically by nature, by default, been repeating them over and over again, that they become like second nature to me. And that's why I'm inviting you guys to say, just give it about 5 days, right? You could give it 3 days if you've never done this before, and then build it in and say, what is it that works well for you? And if you're doing half an hour physical activity, that means that you don't need to go out of your way. I said you can actually go for lunch hour walk. If you're working, you can decide to go to work walking rather than driving. If you don't live far away, you can decide to come off the bus a little bit earlier, a few stops earlier, and then walk home. Or you can decide to, if you're going in at work and you have, let's say, stairs, instead of taking the elevators, you can take the stairs. It's just kind of incorporating those steps in your day-to-day life, incorporating those opportunities that actually help you to physically, if possible, elevate your heart rate, so that at the end of the day you're able to become much more physically present. And of course, doing that consistently for half an hour for 5 days. That's all that we're doing. Half an hour, 5 days is more than enough. And why am I saying this? Because if you practice it every single day, after it gets to day 5, you might tell yourself, Claire, I've done it for 5 days. Why can't I do it for 7 days? When you get to day 7, you'll be like, why can't I do it for 14 days? When you get to day 14, you'll be like, why can't I do it to 21 days? When you get to 21 days, nowadays we know they say it takes anything between 18 to 254 days to have like establish a habit. So it might as well get to a point. Once you get to day 21, you say to yourself, well, I've done this long enough to be able to keep it with me, to be able to continue doing it consistently. And it becomes second nature, right? And once it becomes second nature, you will not struggle with it. We're not meant to struggle at things like that, because the moment you do things, that's why I said you can decide and do 3 hours of exercise one day, and then the next day you wake up you have cramps, you're feeling pain all over the body, and decide, I've had enough, I'm not doing this again. But if you do half an hour, and then with time you might want to build into different things, you can do for half an hour and do just maybe 3 kilometers walk. Then next time try to do half an hour and do 3.5 kilometers walk. Then next time build it up. So one thing I usually say, don't try to shift too many things at the same time. You'll confuse yourself. Shift one thing at a time. Start off with just half an hour, and then continue with half an hour for these 5 days. Once the 5 days are over, you might decide and say, I'll stick to half an hour, sorry. And instead of, maybe if I've been going for 2 kilometers walk in half an hour, I'll do 2.1 kilometers. So grow gradually with one constant thing. Once you become better at that, you decide again to shift, so you can increase your intensity within the same time, and that will help you to grow, that will help you to become better at it every single day. So today is day number 4. We have one more day to go tomorrow, and it's just coming after 6 in the morning where I leave. I'm going to shoot out and go off for a run. When I come back from the run, I will definitely make a little shot and post the shot just to show you I've been able to do my half an hour. And then tomorrow we'll come back, as they call it, the grand finale. And it's not like it's the end, it's just kind of, in a way, we are starting ourselves with those things that can help us. And so once we finish this, I'll come back again maybe in the beginning of July, God willing and God helping me, with something else that we can do, maybe quick fixes, 3 days, 5 days, 7 days, that can help us to kind of see or realize it doesn't have to be complicated. We make it so overcomplicated, but there's so much beauty in simplicity. And so I hope you guys know that you're loved, celebrated, and appreciated. I pray that you have a great and amazing, wonderful, beautiful day. And I hope that you know that it's my prayer and my desire that you will prosper and be in good health, even as your souls prosper. That was today's recording. Have an awesome, amazing day. I love you guys to bits, and I shall see you again tomorrow, the final time of the season, where we'll be doing the day 5 of the 30 minutes challenge to encourage yourself to become consistent. Have an awesome day. Goodbye, everyone.